Has your grandparents or your mom and dad ever told you guys a ghost story when you was younger? Possibly something like what my mother told me. When I was younger, my mom used to tell me a ghost story of a school teacher she had that was one day walking on the railroad tracks. And while she was walking on the railroad tracks, a train came along and killed her. And every night, if you walk them railroad tracks, you can hear her crying, or even possibly see her apparition, and even hear the train coming. Guys, that's pretty much what that is. It's just a ghost story. Something you might want to tell your children at night to give them a little spook. Something you might say at a campfire. Something to have a little fun with. Something that's fictional. Hi guys, my name is Mike. I'd like to welcome you all to my documentary, Search for the Truth. In this documentary, it's going to be about paranormal, ghosts, spooks, apparitions, spirits. And what I'm going to do in this documentary is I'm going to show you 90% of what everybody's calling paranormal, ghosts, spooks, whatever I mentioned a minute ago, can be debunked. Now, before we go any further, I do believe there is something out there that we cannot explain. I'd be foolish to sit there and say, no, there is no such thing, because I will not do that. But what I am going to do is show you how 90% of it can be explained away. Now, I want to give a little brief history about myself. Okay, real quick, a little brief history about myself. I was a paranormal investigator for about 12 years. I actually been studying the paranormal longer than that and still do today. I also dabble a little bit with demonology too. I learned a little bit about that as well. And today I want to throw this documentary together to show you guys that not all things you would think is paranormal is real. In this video we're going to do some reenactments. Reenactments of actual ghost hunts I've been on. And then towards the end of the video we're going to actually have a 34-year-old mystery. We're going to try to debunk it. Then we're going to try to debunk something that happened back a couple months ago to my youngest and I at the park. We thought we seen an apparition. And that's what turned the light on in my head, my friends. That's what turned the light on. That's what got me to seeing things in a whole new light. So guys, let's get started. And yeah, let's do this. Okay, on some of my investigations, we will go into what you would call the creepy, haunted old house. Immediately, you just know something's going to be there. Right now, I'm in my creepy, I guess, haunted basement. I wish I could take you to a location, but I couldn't find a creepy haunted house that will let me come in and videotape. So, we'll do it from here. But anyway, a lot of investigations I went on was in the creepy haunted houses. Okay, what we're going to do on this set, we're going to go ahead and dim the lights a little bit, walk around a little bit, and I'm going to tell you the things one might experience when they're trying to catch paranormal. And I will explain as I go on some of the things you might hear, some of the things that you might think you see. Now you got to remember, whenever you're on a ghost hunt, it's super dark. You can't even see your hand in front of your face most of the time. Now you're in a home, immediately it's creepy looking. Immediately it's been told to you it's haunted. So right away you're going into this home thinking, oh my God, I'm going to catch some type of footage. Something's going to happen. Now, back in the earlier days when we started the ghost hunting, only thing we had to our arsenal was just an old antique camera. We had a voice recorder, and we have flashlights. That's it. So we'll be going around in the dark, praying we will get something. Now there are some things you will hear in a creepy old house. Some of the things you might hear in a creepy old house is stuff like that. Now, all kinds of sounds. You can hear creaking in the wood, creaking in the ceilings. Guys, seriously, you got to ask yourself, why is this? But like I said before, most of the ghost hunts I went into, I automatically, in my mind, this place is haunted. In my mind, no matter what I heard, I'm going to think it's paranormal. What I don't do is, I don't sit there and try to put an explanation to it. It's an old house. It's still settling. It's going to make creaks. It's going to make sounds. And then you're going to basically go through the whole night with all these creaks and sounds, and all these things are going to be happening, and all kinds of neat things. You're going to go home, you're going to review the evidence, and you're going to see what they call black masses. Some people call them shadow people. Well, let me tell you something, guys. I picked up lots of these black masses, lots of the shadow people. Let me tell you what they turn out to be. Most of the time, my own shadow. Other times, somebody driving a car down the road or walking by the window that casts a shadow. And how can I forget? One time, as one of our team members holding the camera up and seeing a shadow of himself on the wall, and we debated this, and oh my God, we thought we had the best evidence of all. It wasn't. Now, in a creepy old house I'm talking about is something that's vacant. Something nobody goes in there anymore. Something that nobody's lived in for 50 or 60 years. So pretty much you're going in there because it just looks haunted, and oh my God, in your mind you think it's haunted. And then you go to check your voice recorder. Oh yes. You're sitting there, you're listening to it. Well guys, let me tell you something about the voice recorder. So I'm looking at the voice recorder, looking to see if I got any EVPs. Something from a distance, something that's not around, something that's not alive, might want to talk to me. Well, let me tell you, out of all the years I've done this, and I've done this longer than I was a ghost hunter, never really picked up anything I could sit there and say, oh my God, it's a ghost talking to me. Never once. Most of the time we found out it was either us holding the voice recorder, maybe our finger touching it, making sound, or it in our pocket, it banging around. And sometimes we leave it stationary and it picks up sounds, and we found out it's because the battery's running dead, or we recorded so many times over it, it's just getting scratchy sounds. But let me tell you something about the voice recorder. If you listen to the sound you picked up enough, and you sit there and listen to it, then you all of a sudden suggest, or somebody suggests, well, that's saying, hello, my name is Frank. Then you sit there after somebody says that, and you're like, you know what? That does sound like it's saying that. Now, I'm not saying all voice recorders are like this, but out of all the years I've ever done ghost hunting, never had anything that I would consider grade A material. They were all pretty much C's, D's, and F's. Most of them you couldn't understand anything, and they all could be debunked away. Every one. Okay, now let's say you get a call from a client, and the client says, hey, I need you to come in and check out my basement. For some reason, whenever I go in the basement, it feels like people are watching me. Or they say something like, whenever I go in the basement, it feels like something's tugging at my hair or touching me. Or they say something like, whenever I get to the basement, I hear things moving. I feel weird. I feel dizzy. I feel sick to my stomach. So we go down into the client's basement, like I'm in my basement now, and I'm getting very dark, okay? But you gotta remember, when we do these ghost hunts, it's pitch black. And we're gonna turn on some lights so I don't break my neck. So when we get down in the basement in the client's house, we're sitting there trying to, and that was a bug. That wasn't paranormal, I swear. We're trying to find out what can be causing these claims. We'll go into this with a scientific, view of things. And there is one thing too. A lot of us ghost hunters, especially if you're new at it, they're going to come into the person's house. You're going to automatically think it's haunted. So every little sound they hear, something like, oh my God, that's paranormal. But you know what, folks? Do you own any pets? I own cats. I own dogs. I cannot come down to my basement without one of my cats coming down here. And if I be real quiet long enough, you'll hear my cat move around. A lot of times I don't see my cat come down behind me. She's sneaky, but yet she's down here making noise. And some of the noises come, like I said before, from the creaking of the house. Some could be, maybe you have mice. And the things that are touching your head as you're walking by, sometimes that could be cobwebs. Now you remember me saying, when we go into an investigation, we go into it looking, as a scientist would. Well, there is one thing that causes a lot that a lot of people don't think about. It's called the fear cage. Let me tell you what a fear cage is. Fear cage is usually a coax cable or something like that with a lot of electricity going through. And a lot of these cables are old, very old. I have old ones in my house, and some of that electricity goes out, and it forms what they call a fear cage. When this happens, it can make you sick to your stomach. It can make you feel like people are watching you. It can make you lightheaded. And even in some cases, it makes you think you're hearing people whisper. Immediately when you go down to your basement, how often you guys go to your basement? You may go to your basement every so often to do laundry. You may go to your basement every so often to check things out. So immediately you don't go to your basement that often. So you're going to automatically be on edge when you go to your basement, especially if you're by yourself, and especially you go down there in the middle of the night. You're on edge. So every little sound you're going to hear, you're going to blame it on paranormal. You're going to blame it on everything other than what it is. I'm telling you guys, I've done lots of investigations in basements. Lots of them. Only to find out it can be explained away. Every bit of them. You'll be amazed on all these ghost hunts how much evidence we actually did get. How much evidence was actually keepable. You would think with all the TV shows out there, all the paranormal shows, oh my God, everywhere's haunted. No, that's Hollywood, guys. You would be amazed how little you get. For something that everybody talks about, for something that everybody claims they have in their house, which is ghosts, you'd be amazed how little one actually will get on an investigation. Because most things can be explained away. Most can. And not to mention, a lot of times when you go on these investigations, back then, in the beginning, we had a dinosaur camera. Nowadays, we have the new improved cameras that use the SD cards. And guys, let me tell you something about the SD cards. If you keep using one repeatedly and repeatedly, sometimes things are going to show up in your video. And it may fool you. You may think it's paranormal. But actually it's not. It's the faulty of the card. And sometimes the faulty of the camera. Plus it's so dark, cameras play tricks on your eyes. I mean, even the room you're in, without looking through a camera screen, it still plays tricks on your eyes. You know, your mind is a wonderful tool. And your mind, immediately when you go into these places, you're automatically thinking it's haunted. Your mind's going to pick up everything. It's like, oh my God, what was that? What was that? It's easily to be fooled, folks. So easy. Okay, I'm going to go on location next. It's right now real late at night in my house, okay? And I was hoping to do this particular, the basement and the haunted house. I was hoping to do it justice, but this is all I got. So the next ones, I'm going to actually be on location. We're going to go to a cemetery. We're going to go to creepy woods. Finally, I get to go on location and do some of these. So until then, I'm going to let you guys go until tomorrow, and we'll pick this up then. So guys, so far, have you learned anything right now? Are you starting to see the way I see things? Now, like I said, 90% of the things can be debunked. At the end of this whole video, after we do the major debunks, then I would present, well, tell you about evidence that I can't explain. But until then, let's keep talking about things I can. Alright, I'll see you in the morning, guys. The graveyard, guys. Peaceful, beautiful, breathtaking. This is one of them places people feel creeped out the most. Imagine if it's dark, you're the only one in here. You're going to feel things. But the truth be told, it's the most peaceful place there is in the world. At least to me it is. I literally done hundreds of ghost hunts in graveyards. Not exactly a nice thing to do, to be honest with you. As we learned early on, well, wasn't so early after we did hundreds of them. Actually, to be honest, I did about maybe 90. And we learned early on that we shouldn't do this, you know. Some of the graveyards I never had permission to do ghost hunts in. But of all the times I've done a ghost hunt in a graveyard, I've never once picked up any footage I can use. So immediately when you come to graveyards, you're going to feel creepy. It's just no way of hiding from that. But like I said before, you go into places like this, immediately your mind's set one way, and then you start hearing things and seeing things. And if the things you are hearing are real, you're going to automatically think it's paranormal. Now, we did take some photographs, which was questionable in some of the graveyards, but it happened to be the lighting, the distance, and the tombstones, because in the photos they looked like apparitions, but they wasn't. Well, guys, I'm fighting brain today, and we're getting ready to go from here to try to debunk a 34-year-old mystery. But first, we're going to go take a little walk through the creepy woods. I see up there. On some investigations I've been on was exactly in creepy woods, just like this. A lot of people go into woods, and especially when it's starting to get dark, they hear things. Guys, it's outside. You're going to hear tree branches falling. You're going to hear the wildlife. On the way into this park, we seen 2 little deer playing. As a matter of fact, I'm going to roll that footage right now. Do you know one little rabbit can sound like a bear running through the woods? So immediately, creepy woods puts that creepy feeling in the air. It all could be debunked, my friends. All of it could be debunked. Every bit of it. But you know what? Since we're here at the creepy woods, we're going to do a 34-year-old mystery. We're going to try to debunk a 34-year-old mystery. Something that happened to me when I was 18 years of age. Let me paint the picture. When I was 18 years of age, some friends of mine and me went basically up this huge hill in the middle of nowhere, and there was a abandoned building, half burnt down, and about 100 yards from that building was a abandoned pool, all busted up. We went up there because we was told this is one of the places that Charles Manson lived. Yeah. And I was 18 years old, you know. I was like, yeah, let's check this stuff out, yeah. We get up there, and we go to the abandoned pool, and it's amazing, I'm telling you. So we're sitting there, and I was like, oh, wait a minute. Guys, I'll be right back. I forgot my cigarettes. You know, back in them days, I'd had the horrible habit of smoking. So as I was walking back to get my cigarettes, because I left them at the abandoned house, I was walking through the woods, and I walked upon a man that almost would remind you of Abraham Lincoln, but it wasn't. He had like a, not really a top hat, but a tall hat, 18th century period clothing, and a cane. And I almost ran right into this man. So basically, like I said, I almost ran into him. I was like, oh, excuse me, sir, I'm sorry. And then he pointed the cane, told me like to go on, and I walked a few steps, and then when I turned around, he was gone. So as soon as this rain stops, and I hope it stops, we're going to try to debunk that 34-year-old mystery, because that's what started me into the paranormal that day. Because I didn't really tell my friends what I seen, because back in them days, you tell your friends, I think I seen a ghost, you would have been made fun of. So it pounded on my mind for all these years, and that's what got me started into paranormal. So today we're going to see if we can debunk that 34-year-old mystery. And since the last couple of days, since I've been doing the documentary, I'm remembering some things that happened more. And plus, by us going on a location, and we're not going to be able to go to a location, I've seen the guy, but us being here that's very similar to that location, I'm hoping I can basically remember more and see what I might have added to it through the years and take away what I didn't add. We're going to see if this guy could disappear in just a few steps. Right here. Alright guys, I see you when the rain stops. Alright guys, I ain't going to be able to use a tripod for this, but we're going to do a reenactment. My youngest is going to play the young me at 18, and my oldest son's going to play the possible apparition, okay? And what we're going to do is, I'm hoping we get this on one shot, we're going to have my youngest do exactly what I did, and have my oldest do exactly what the apparition did, the possible apparition. Then we're going to try to debunk it. Did the apparition or the possible apparition have enough time to get out of my sight? Because remember, when I looked back, he vanished. Alright, you guys ready? Alright guys, the first reenactment. Flashlight on. He's walking through the woods. Comes across.
Oh, excuse me, sir.
He gets up here, he turns around, and when he turns around, the apparition is nowhere to be seen. Alright, we tried the recreation, which worked out flawlessly. I applaud my sons. Now we're going to try it again. I'm going to show you exactly what happened with me. We're going to see if the apparition can disappear. Now, on this particular night, it's about 11 o'clock at night, full moon. It was definitely a full moon, and the canopy wasn't thick because it was fall time. So you have to take away all the leaves because it was fall time, and you could hear your footsteps as you hear them crunching through the weeds. So remember, full moon, 11 o'clock at night, no canopy, and fall time, you can hear the crunching through the weeds. Okay, here we go. Okay, I'm headed up to the house to get my cigarettes, and I got the flashlight pointing down through here. Now, I'm just walking, looking at the ground as I'm walking, and when I walked right through here, excuse me, sir. Okay, yeah, okay. I walk, and I walk, and I thought it was mysterious, so I looked back, and he was gone. Alright, you can't hide behind the tree. I would have seen that.
I know.
So, guys, I don't know, because honestly, let's try it again, and this time I want you to go further down on the trail if you can. Okay, the first recreation, I was able to see him. Now we're going to try another one, and I told my son to walk another way. Let's try it again, guys. Number 2. Okay, I'm hurry up walking through the woods because I need that cigarette so bad. Flashlight in the hand, just pretend there's a flashlight there. I'm walking, walking. Oh, excuse me, sir. Okay, yeah, okay. Kind of start going a little faster. Turn around. Oh. Now, like I said, there was a full moon, but it was nighttime. He's in black, an old dusty black suit type thing with a dusty black hat. And even though it was a full moon, it was still night. It's possible. It is possible you could have been out of my reach. It is possible, but as soon as I did that, let me put the second half to it. Now the whole time when I looked to see if he was there, I was looking where the trail was. Now we made a trail, my friends and I, as we went back and forth, and by going back and forth in the woods so many times you make a trail. Now what Justin is thinking, he could have went off to the right. Instead of walking the trail back, I automatically thought the apparition would have been on the trail or still standing there. Now as soon as I turned around and didn't see him, I made a beeline straight back to my friends to say, hey, I seen somebody, maybe we should go. So we're going to do a reenactment again, but this time we're going to have Justin go off the trail. Alright, let's see if we can debunk this. This happened 34 years ago, and in my mind, this was an apparition this whole time. Now I'm starting to question it. Okay, we're going to try one reenactment, and this might debunk it. Okay, let's do it 100% as it was. All the way through. Part 1 and 2 now. Okay, my light on? Yep, light's on. Flashlight in my hand, I'm walking through. I'm looking at the trail. 11 o'clock at night, full moon, but I still had a flashlight. Walking, walking. Oh, excuse me, sir. Okay, yeah. I started picking up speed, then I turned around. Yeah. When you went to the right, you're no longer in sight. Had enough time to get completely out of my way because I only looked at the trail. Guys, that's been a 34-year-old mystery to me, and I never debunked it until now. And after we've done this a couple times, that could have been a person. Mysterious that he's wearing 18th century clothing, an 18th century hat. Very mysterious. He almost looked like Abraham Lincoln. Very mysterious, but still could have been a human being. without a shadow of the doubt, if I said that right, if it could be proven that it could have got on my site, then you can't use that as evidence. And it's been proven. I debunked it. He could have got out of my sight because I only looked at the trail, headed back. And the pool was about, I say about 30 to 40 yards down the woods that way. I want to thank my boys for helping with this recreation. 34-year-old mystery debunked, guys. I still like to think I seen an apparition. I wish I did, but after doing this, I'm not so sure I did now. Now, we're on to do another recreation, okay? Something that happened a couple months ago in December to my youngest and I at one of the parks I walk at. Let's try to debunk this one now. Okay, I got one more thing I'd like to debunk. This happened back a couple months ago in December. My youngest and I was at the park and we was doing our walk, right? Now, it was cold. I say about the temperature was about 26 degrees. A lady with blonde hair had a tie-dye shirt on, no sleeves, and shorts, appeared out of nowhere. That was strange, you know? That was very strange. So we're like, where'd she come from? So as we was walking around the park, she was a little bit ahead of us. What looked to appear at the time, she vanished. I passed this off at the time. I thought I seen an apparition. I did. I was like, that's got to be a ghost. But after thinking about this and seeing some things as the time went on, I was like, I started questioning this, right? Now, through the winter months, January and February, I seen other joggers out wearing shorts and shirt sleeve shirts jogging. So I was like, wait a minute. But what that lady had on, maybe that's no big deal. Plus, I got to thinking, and my youngest brought it to my attention. It's like, Dad, when you have Stormy walking with you, and Stormy's my dog, you always look down. See, when I walk, I'm all the time looking at Stormy, and that particular day I was looking at Stormy a lot because it was salt, rock salt, and I don't want my dog walking through rock salt, so I always try to zigzag. And it possibly could be when I was looking down where there was rock salt, where I thought the lady vanished, she could have easily walked away. So that's what we're going to debunk today, guys. That's right, we're going to try to put this one to sleep. I don't know if we can debunk it. I don't know. Maybe it was a possible apparition. But hey, we're going to do our damnedest to debunk this. Now, we tried to debunk this the day it happened, and there's two areas to really come into the park. Over this way and right there. We was thinking it was possible after a couple days went by she came in this way. Now, the lady was much further ahead than us, but let me show you. Come on, Storm. Let me show you where the salt was, and I'll show you where I had to take my eye off the road. It was walking right through here, and right in this area, right here is where the salt was. So I had to move all the way over, and then I was able to look up right about in here. And this is where we're going to see if she had enough time to get off the road. Alright guys, let's put this together. I was hoping to do a good reenactment like I did before and try to debunk this, but there's a lot of people here. So we're going to put my son Justin down there. He's going to play the girl, and Damon's going to walk next to me. In the distance is my son Justin. Okay, Justin, turn around, get ready. Now when I start walking, I'm going to look down on the ground about the length of time Damon and I did to get out of the salt. Then we're going to look up right when we get right in that area. Well, I'll show you when. Alright, ready? Walk. Okay, we got to move all the way out of the way for the salt. Then we looked up. He didn't get out of the way. Nope, this one, no. Alright, let's try this again. Okay, my son Justin thought she stayed on the road and tried to get out of the way. I'm thinking she went over the hill. As you can see, there's a hill there. I'm thinking it's possible when I was looking down, watching out for the salt, she could have went over that way and got out of sight. So let me go ahead and instruct him. We'll try it again. Alright guys, there's one thing that I was hoping to get my daughter to do the reenactment with me because Justin's going to be much taller than that girl. The girl we seen was about Elizabeth's height, so I was hoping to get Elizabeth to do it with me. Let's try it again. See if we can get off the road. Alright, 3, 2, walk! Alright, move out of the way for Salt. Salt all around there. Right about here, we look up. No, I still can see him. Still can see him. Alright, there's only one other alternative, and let's walk down here so I can instruct him to go another way. And if this doesn't get it, we may have to confirm this was an apparition. I wish I could do this with the tripod, but guys, this is better for me to hold it. Alright, we're going to try it one more time. We're going to tell him to, I asked him to take off the same way, because no matter what, if she went straight on out, let me show you. If she went straight on out that way, I still would have seen her. So I'm asking him to run up that way, because she could have took off running. We don't really know for sure. See, it did come to my attention, I don't know if she took off running, because even though she looked like a jogger, which she could have took off jogging, when we seen her, she was walking. So we're going to try this again. Now this particular morning was about 10 a.m., 9:30, 10 a.m., and it had a little fog to the air, but it didn't mess with our vision. Not whatsoever, you know. All right, he's in position. Ready? Here we go, guys. Walk. Walk out of the way of the Salt. Out of the way of the Salt. Okay, and look up. He's gone. He is absolutely gone. Could that be it? Now, when Damien and I seen this, we thought for sure we seen an apparition. And then it come to me, see, we tried to debunk it that day. We did try to debunk it, but there's a couple things we left out of it. First of all, I completely forgot me looking down for the Salt, because I don't want Stormy stepping on the Salt because it burns her paws. And that was about, what, about 3 seconds, and she was at the steps the last time we seen her, and if she was to take off to a jog off to Park Avenue, as you seen, she got completely out of my sight. And plus, when we was trying to debunk it the first time, I only thought there was one entrance she could come in, but there actually was another way she could have came in, which didn't really matter, you know. But when we seen her, she was pretty much almost where we started from, and we was on the other side of the park. All right, guys, there's the debunk. We didn't see an apparition. This one, I thought we had it in the, I thought we had it, but we didn't. Some hauntings that we basically were called upon was people losing their loved ones. And they call us up saying, I think my loved one's trying to reach me, trying to contact me. Can you please come out to my house and see what you guys can get? I'm going to do a small reenactment of something similar to this that happened to me many years ago. And tell you how it went and why people think they see their loved ones coming back after they lose them. Because this happened to me many years ago. I'm not saying this happens all the time. It's just something that could happen. So I'm going to show you a reenactment of this and let you guys draw your own opinion. Sometimes, even to a trained investigator, you may think you see things that's not really there. Now, back many years ago, I lost my father. And hours after he passed away, I needed closure. So I went into the house he lived in, and I did this every night, same time. Every night before I would go to bed, I would always pay my father a visit, make sure he was okay. And every night he'd be sitting there in the bed like this, on the edge of the bed, smoking a cigarette. I'd come in and he'd be like, Michael? Every night. I needed closure, guys. And I wanted to go, my whole purpose of going over to the house was to basically talk to an empty bed that my father passed away. I know that sounds silly, but you gotta understand the state of mind I was in. So I get over there, and when I walked around that corner, I was like, as soon as I walked around the corner, I thought I seen them. Let me show you what I seen. Right in front of my eyes, he vanished away. For a minute there, I was like, I just seen my father. Then I come to my senses. It was only the figment of my imagination. It was me wanting to see my father so bad. I imagined all of that. It never happened. And that happens so many times to people that lose loved ones. So many times. Now, what I just said, sometimes you do see your loved ones. But then again, do you really? You gotta ask yourself that. I knew how to debunk that. I knew it was just my imagination. Over the years, there are some evidence I could not debunk. I'm going to tell you one good piece of evidence we got, and I'm going to tell you something a friend of mine that happened to her. Once upon a time, we went into a lady's house, and her claims was she would see a guy walk through the house out of a corner of her eye whenever she's trying to go to sleep. She would hear voices, and her newspaper will always be moved. So we went in and did the investigation, and I took the camera, plugged it in, took it upstairs and left it stationary right there, and went downstairs and sat on a sofa and just listened. After a couple hours went by, I went upstairs. I figured my battery was getting ready to die, picked up the camera, loaded up my stuff, went home. When I was checking out the footage on the camera, I noticed the camera was actually lifted up, tilted to one side, tilted to the other side, and then downward, then back down. And I did pick up a distant voice in it. It sounded similar to, oh yeah. I couldn't debunk it. We tried everything to try to debunk that. So guys, that is one footage I could not debunk. The other piece of footage came from a friend of mine. She had lost her father. And one night, she was actually in a chat server with me talking. Her phone rings. It's her father calling her. It's his number. Now, as soon as her father passed away, the number was turned back in. She was surprised. She didn't answer the phone. She was too scared to answer the phone. Then she called the phone company and says, hey, could something be possible somehow that number call? They said, ma'am, that number is no longer in service. I got no explanations. Do you? Was it her father calling her? That's another piece of footage I can't debunk. That is the 10%. Now, right now, nobody has a clue. Nobody knows. So guys, pretty much that's what this whole documentary is about. 90% of the stuff that's out there can be explained away. I'm not trying to disprove all paranormal. I'm just trying to show you 90% of it can be explained away. 90% of it's in your head. But there is that 10% we can't explain. So next time you're basically in that creepy old basement, the creepy graveyard, creepy woods, or in your old historical home, and you hear sounds that you might think is paranormal, try to debunk it. Remember what you watched in this video. Ask yourself, could it be these things? Don't get all scared about it. Just try to use a scientific mind. So guys, hope you liked my documentary. This is my very first documentary, and I'm planning on doing a lot more. So leave me comments down below, and leave your own ghost stories down below, because I want to hear them, I want to read them. Until next time, thank you so much for watching. Sorry about the length of the documentary, but documentaries can be long. And my beautiful background, the beautiful Triple Bridge. We'll catch you next time. And hey, I might do some more of these. Yeah. Till next time. Come on, let's get out of here, folks.